Hello, Malcolm. I'm so excited to be speaking with you today because you wanted to explore how Disney has become a luxury good. And at first it was like, I don't know,
Not
everyone
even a
knows
luxury
this.
good, a luxury brand.
A luxury
Going through
brand.
Disney these days, it's like you go and you pay for something. You're like, can I have that? Like going to Disneyland or Disney bag or something.
We happy? Vincent? We happy?
Yeah, we happy. Look.
But in reality, if I were to go to Disneyland, it would be more like this.
Open it up! Go ahead. Open it up. Do what he says. Hurry. What is this? What is this? Where's all the money? That's as good as money, sir. Those are IOUs.
No, like basically that's it. And honestly, the more I dove into this issue to prepare for this episode, the more I realized this is actually a really deep and important issue to discuss. It goes way beyond all the like butthurt videos that are out there, which I love watching anyway. I watch a ton of Disney reviews. I subscribe to channels that only review menus from premium Disney restaurants. Like I'm into this. I love it. But it's actually doing the research myself and doing this episode. I now have a completely different view and philosophy around purchasing any non-commodified product or service.
Oh, explain.
My worldview has changed. So we're going to get into it through the lens of Disney no longer being affordable. And we really have to talk about it. So I just want to, for those who are not familiar with the Disney brand and how much it has increased in cost, Disney park entrance fees now rise about twice as fast as the cost of an average American's basket of goods and services, and faster than major competitors' ticket prices too. So it's not just like, you know, everyone's getting out of hand when it comes to theme parks. Disney's also charging customers for a myriad of add-ons that is just completely insane. And if you want to watch, like, because I love videos on these, I really love Jake of Bright Sun Films. Check out his Bright Sun Travel channel too. He has one video where he just goes with his girlfriend to Disneyland for one day and sort of just gives you a really good day in the life of like how much you spend being a totally non-VIP, reasonable, budget conscious Disney attendee.
Oh my.
At one point though, he wants to go on a new ride there, the new Tron ride. He pays just $42 for himself and his girlfriend to be able to get on the ride. Because there was
already in the park.
He's already in the park, but just to get on that one ride, because otherwise they never would have gotten to go on it that day, because you have to like, it's a whole thing. In that one day, he dropped $886.
Oh my God.
For not doing anything particular. No, he didn't buy any snacks. He didn't do anything special. He didn't get add-ons aside from that one desperate attempt to get on a ride. And it's insane. It's also, I should say, like, it is insane to the point where people are actively damaging themselves to participate in Disney experiences. Surveys in 2024 to 2025, so like now, show that around 24% of all US Disney park visitors have gone into debt to pay for their Disney trip, with the rate soaring to 45% among parents with children under 18, who are the least, you know, they shouldn't be getting into debt.
Rather than like saving for college or something, not that college makes sense these days exactly, but saving to set their kids up, they're like, yeah, let's go into debt for Disney.
For Disney, and it's not a little bit. The average debt for these trips is around $2,000 per family, and most indebted guests took their Disney debt on within the past 5 years. I can't believe it.
The experience is not that good. We went to Disney not that long ago compared to like when I was a kid. And I remember just being like, this is not, it doesn't have that much magic anymore. Yeah. Especially if you contrast it with other parks like Universal Studios.
Yeah, which are like freaking amazing. Yeah, just like sort of park technology.
By how good Universal Studios was in comparison to Disney. Disney felt like a discount attract. It really reminds me of like Costco's versus BJ's. Like everybody thinks of Costco as like the higher end brand, but if you've ever been in a Costco's and a BJ's, Costco's feels very like, and I do not mean to say this in like a negative way, but growing up in Texas, you could go to various grocery stores and you could tell if the primary users of the grocery store were Latin American immigrants or they were supposed to be Texas-born individuals. And Costco feels like a store that is set up for Latin American immigrants. Typically, like it's you know, with BJ's, like everything's like very. Actually, anyone who knows, if you're Latin American and you've gone to a Latin American grocery store, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They have a very different structure in terms of the layout and in terms of the way they display products. But anyway.
Interesting. BJ's does feel very white. I'll say that. But here is why this really actually matters beyond just Disney. Disney is not actually unique. It is we'll say like a sort of hyperbolic example, but it's representative of any non-commoditized product in a market. And discourse around Disney's unaffordability yields a key insight because non-commodity products are basically in this modern age endlessly exploitative. There is no way that they're going to be affordable or sustainable. In other words, you're either going to get a crappy experience like we did at Disney, or
Yeah.
you're going to spend so much money that like you're in debt or all your money spent on it and you're still not going to be satiated.
So explain what you mean by a non-commodity experience.
So I'm referring to, and so there are sort of two broad different types of business models. There are commodities like groceries, like gasoline, where businesses are making money by being more efficient and trying to get as much market share as possible. And then there are products that are more like luxuries or discretionary purchases where really as a business you are making money by differentiating yourself and building brand loyalty. And the only way that you're really going to make money is by focusing it, doubling down on your top. Typically there's just the Pareto principle at play. Your top 20% of customers are going to make up the majority of your earnings. And because of that principle, basically, and businesses, I think in the past, even in our childhoods, and you can see this with Disney, they didn't, I guess, want to admit this. They were like, oh, we welcome all, we want to get all the customers. Let's give everyone a great experience. And now businesses are getting a lot more ruthless about like, no, we're going to fire these customers either by like literally excluding them or by just giving them a really shoddy experience. And we are going to completely focus in.
Well, okay, so
on that
consider
20%.
Disney and why they would do this if people are confused by this. If you go to Disney, and I've been on like non-big days, you are in giant lines. Like let's say like 2-hour lines for like every ride, right? From a Disney perspective, that means you, if you're not one of the highest paying customers, are just making the highest paying customers wait longer for a ride, right? Like
Yeah, you're in their way. You're crowding the
if
park.
you're frugal, they don't want you there.
Yeah, if you're showing up with bottled water and with snacks packed and you're not paying for any extras, and then on the other hand, there's this family that buys the merch, goes to the premium restaurants, goes to a dessert party, gets the Genie passes, stays at the most expensive branded hotel in a suite, does a 6-day package, is a Disney vacation package, timeshare member, like all these things. Like obviously they want that other family to get everything. You know, they're going to get all the attention. But this is a general market principle now that has been widely adopted and accepted. And what this means functionally, whether you have kids or not, is that if you try to get your luxury, that is to say like your hedonic pleasure, any non-commoditized product, so like not groceries, maybe not, well, premium groceries are different. We have Erewhon and everything. But like if you're getting normal stuff, that's fine. But anything beyond that, at this point, you really shouldn't turn to products or services that you buy outside your community or household for your happiness because you cannot get it there. Again, it will either cost
that's what they're
everything
telling you.
or it will
They're
be crappy.
telling you the belief that you're happy. That is what Disney fundamentally sells people these days.
Yeah, but you're not getting happy. You go there and you're like, well, great, now I'm in debt. It wasn't that good of a day. I couldn't even get into anything because the lines were too long. And I'm stressed by the money I did spend.
Well, I mean, people allow themselves to be sort of brainwashed by it and into believing that they're doing something good and that they are happy because otherwise they need to deal with the cognitive dissonance of all the money that they wasted.
Yeah. I think, the other dynamic too is that this is, I think, and I'll show you in the numbers, this is a relatively new thing that is happening with discretionary goods, with non-commoditized goods. So I think a lot of us having most of the people watching this are like older teens or adults had some experience with more sustainably priced discretionary goods and kind of could for a while get by with getting luxuries and being satisfied from them and getting a premium experience in a slightly more affordable format. This was also cheesed by that experience of like the post.com tech boom, where like VCs were just pumping money into startups that sold luxuries, which in turn were only trying to get market share by making their products and services super underpriced. So this was back when you could get like an Uber, and an Uber meant like a luxury black car, and it was actually affordable, but like that was just because a venture capitalist was subsidizing it. No one could afford that. So I think a lot of us have grown up thinking that we could do this, and now they're still doing it. Like they're putting money into the machine and nothing's coming out, and they're not realizing this. But this is your wake-up call. So first, let's just talk about how like out of control things have gotten and how quickly. And we're going to look at the price hikes.
Okay, let's look at the price hikes.
They're intense. So park entrance in Disneyland, 1955. Do you want to guess what it was?
Is it cost adjusted? I'm gonna guess $50 cost adjusted.
Hell, it was $11 to $24.
$24? That's cost adjusted to modern
to 2024. Although before 1981 in Disney parks, you had to make separate purchases for rides. And then the all-inclusive ticket model began in 1981. So if we just look at then 1981, still it was $31 all-inclusive to get in the park. Then in 1990, it was $72, like around $72. In 2000, $84. In 2010, $107. In 2015, $131. In 2024, $104 to $206.
And keep in mind when you're looking at these earlier dates and you're like, but my parents could afford to go to Disney with me when I was a kid, so I want to do that for my kids.
Because they could. Because
they literally could. It was a different experience back then.
Yeah.
And frankly, I think it was a better experience, Rise Wide and Park.
I loved it. Yeah, it was fantastic.
For the same cost. I mean, I'm sure we could just go to Hershey Park or something. And
so I will point out, actually, other USA parks, when adjusted for inflation, the entrance fee increases in US-based Disney parks have significantly outpaced both the national inflation rate and the price hikes at rival parks, such as like Universal Studios and Six Flags. But all major parks have seen double-digit increases in the past decade. They are outpacing inflation. And I can send you a series of tables.
Well, I want to talk about Disney like branded goods as well.
Oh, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. But I also first want to point out just how out of whack things are, because this is actually it's clearly a Disney strategy. And in some other countries, I think this Pareto principle, high roller exploitation strategy hasn't necessarily rolled out, because there's this very interesting case study of Tokyo Disney, which is not owned by Disney. It's like licensed. So while in 2025, the inflation adjusted price of, well, we don't have to inflation adjust for this, of Disney in the USA, $189 around to get into like a Disney park. Tokyo Disneyland, you want to guess?
Tokyo Disneyland, I don't know what is
it. It's $75 to get in.
Oh, really?
That was the price to get in approximately 1990. So in 1990, the inflation adjusted dollar price to get into a park was 72 in the United States. So basically, if you want the 90s park experience still, you can literally get it at Tokyo Disney. Same goes for the food. And again, because I'm I love watching park reviews. I've seen so many influencers like literally do all the numbers, fly out to Tokyo, and they're like, literally flying to Tokyo and going to Tokyo Disney costs me less than going to Disneyland in California. Yeah, which honestly, like, I so want to do. That's why I'm like, come on, let's get some kind of pro-natalist event
in Japan before they go extinct.
Tokyo Disney, I know, but like, and also
before Tokyo Disney shuts down, because they're just like, well, there's no kids in Japan.
Yeah, I know.
But I mean, kids don't go to Disney anymore, right?
At least hopefully the Disney adults prop it up, right? But it is really, actually, the hotels and everything, they're gorgeous. It's super kid friendly. Again, the food is affordable.
And we're going to be talking about Disney adults in this episode. We're going to get to that.
I mean, sort of. Yeah. I mean, they're part of this because they're the high rollers, and that's why we're,
I find Disney adults fascinating because they actively brand, and I think it's why Disney has moved in this direction. As a luxury brand. They wear their Disney outfits and branding so that you know how much money they spent. That is part of the point of it, like wearing a Prada bag or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But they're spending it to enforce a perception of them as infantilized. This is a brand. They want other people to see and think about them as infantilized individuals connected to some earlier idea of what a good childhood was that they don't want to have left. And I think that that's what the brand fundamentally represents for the groups that engage with it.
And well, yeah, I mean, I also see sort of Disney adulting is it's very dink. It's very refusing to grow up and just choosing to be a kid forever instead of taking responsibility and, you know, maybe
I
having
don't know
kids.
about that exactly. When I imagine my classic Disney brand person, I mean, there's sort of two categories of them. There's the borderline personality, kind of obese woman who's just obsessed with Disney, which is one category, you know. And then the other category is the beleaguered Mormon mom who used to wear like Minion shirts or something.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that second category is exactly dink-like. They're more just never really wanted to identify as an adult.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah. But I also, I just, because this is so fun, I want to highlight park add-ons because this is what caused, for example, Jake of Bright Sun Travel / Bright Sun Films to pay $42 just to get on a freaking ride. So I don't know if you've been to a Disney park when they introduced fast passes. This was like between 1999 and 2020. Do you remember these?
The fast passes?
Yeah, so FastPass was
Yeah.
this like it was, I think it was integrated with your park entrance card or something that allowed you to basically like sign up for time slots at a ride.
No, I remember because of Cartman's thing where he's like, no, you have to stand in lines to stand in lines. The lines everywhere. The lines.
So then there's lines for FastPass. You stand in line to get a ticket to stand in line later. Then there's lines for the bathrooms, lines for the drinks, lines for cantankerous and rare cantankerous things.
I mean, that's what it eventually became. But the original concept of the FastPass was actually really awesome because it was designed from the standpoint of how can we get people to not stand in lines? Like
Yeah,
if they make an
why
appointment,
did they drop that?
because they realized they can make money off of it. So the first thing was just like basically you sign up for a time slot. You know how like when you're on hold with support and they're like, do you want to hold or do you want us to call you back? And that is exactly what fast passes were. And it just made things work more efficiently. It made it look less crowded. It was great. And then they were like, wait, why aren't we charging people for this? And so in 2017, they introduced the Max Pass DL, which in $20-25 was basically $13. So like not too bad. Then it went up to $18. And then they introduced the Genie system or Genie Plus system, which then started around $18. And then in 2022, it was $24. And then in 2023, it was $30. And then in 2024, it was $32. And then in 2025, it was $35. And I mean, it makes sense to buy one of these per person. But it's also just like so insulting if you're coming with a family and you have all these kids and you're paying $35. And I think there's dynamic pricing too. So if the park's extra crowded, you're paying more per person. That really adds up because this doesn't include the food and the hotel and the transportation. It's just another insult to injury. And then it's also not just, to your point, Disney park stuff. Oh, though I did send you Disney food prices just so you could see. Because the park meals are insane. So in 2014, I'm just going to give you some like very classic Disney food comparisons.
Okay.
But you can also look at the food menus that I sent to you just to see like what they are now.
Oh my God. Sorry. I'm looking at one of these. It is literally a frozen. Okay. Yeah. So I guess this is an older one. A frozen banana is $6.25. Oh my God. Popcorn is $13.
Yeah. I mean, in a commemorative plastic bucket, though. So, I mean, this is literally why we bought a cotton candy machine because we cannot bear to buy candy at venues anymore.
Light lager is $10.
I mean, you need to be sloshed to deal with that kind of stress, though. So in 2014, there's this place called Santa Bread Service. Their inflation adjusted 2025 price was about $13. Now, or as of 2024, it's $22. How about corn dog nuggets? They were $6.68 in 2014. Now they're $11, almost twice as much. Dole Whip, classic Disney treat.
Yeah.
In 2014, $5.36. Now it's $6.43. A Mickey pretzel used to be in 2024 $6.15. I mean, it's still insane to pay $6.15 for a freaking soft pretzel. Now it's $8.68. 2019, an adult table dinner at Be Our Guest was $68.20. Now it is $72. And I mean, people are going with their kids. You know, their kids are like not eating any. They're asking for like chicken nuggets. They're eating 2 of them. They're
Oh
not.
my God. And that's the thing. You know, they're not even eating them.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, to get the table, you have to pay for everyone. You can't just be like, our kids aren't eating, which is what we always do when we're at restaurants.
You don't like eating at restaurants. So I'm like, I'll have the soup. And they're like, what do you mean you'll have the soup? And I'm like, that's
oh my
all
God,
I'm
yeah.
doing.
No, even when you and I just go to restaurants, like I won't eat and you'll order like an appetizer and they get so mad. And then when we go with our kids, maybe both you and I will have an appetizer and their kids will pick off of our plates. And they're like, but what about the children? And we're like, like they don't eat this anyway. I'm not I'm not doing this. But the price increases have been insane. It's been really hard for people to go in. And like the problem is, even if you're responsible, even if you bring snacks, your kids like they want the freaking Mickey waffle. They want the Mickey pretzel. They want the Mickey ice cream. Like they are going to be so mad at you. I mean, like we struggle to take our kids to grocery stores because as much as we're like, no, only for special occasions, well, they always want a toy.
The whole thing just looks like such a chore. So
yeah, no, it's so stressful. So then they have the FastPass, Disney Plus though. So like we're just talking like, what if you just want to be a Disney fan from afar, right? You're like, okay, I'm going to go. Like we're not going to leave our house. I love Disney as a kid, so let's just get Disney Plus. But it's gone up from 2019. It was $8.67 inflation adjusted. Now it's $18.99.
What
It's
per
crazy
month?
expensive. Yeah.
That's why we don't get Disney Plus anymore.
Yeah, dude. And just to go more into the Disney debt that people go into for Disney vacations, because this is just so sobering to me. And this is, again, this is why, like, even if you're like, okay, well, this is my one thing. This is where I'm going to get all of my hedonic pleasure. No, you're only going to end up hurting yourself. 24% of Disney park attendees have taken on debt for their trip. That's up from 18% in 2022.
Wow.
So I think that really goes to show that even in just 3 years, it's become so financially unsustainable that many more people are like, well, I guess like credit card debt. 45% of parents of children under 18 have gone into debt for a Disney trip. That's up from 30% in 2022. The average Disney-related debt for parents of young children is $1,983 per trip. And debt most commonly covers concessions and transportation and accommodations. So they're going into debt to buy pretzels, to buy an overpriced pretzel, an $8 pretzel. 83% of indebted parents incurred their Disney debt within the past 5 years. Gen Z, that's like 39%, and millennials, 36%, are likeliest to take on Disney debt, while only 7% of boomers do. So basically almost like getting close to, well over a third of Gen Z and millennials can't do Disney without getting into debt. So if you see a young person at Disney, 1 out of 3 of them is going into debt to be there. Like, just look to your left, look to your right. 1 of the 3 of you is in debt or more debt. And while most families can pay off their Disney-related debt within 6 months, nearly 60% report no regrets.
60% don't pay it off.
No, nearly 60% report no regrets. And that's where we get to the Disney delusion. And this is where we get to this delusion that I want this episode to be a wake-up call. And this whole thing has been a wake-up call for me to dispel, because people are so brainwashed into Disney fandom, which we would argue is analogous to any facet of modern mainstream culture, that Disney is able to exploit them in a myriad of ways, and it will never be enough. Like these people are going into debt to buy a freaking pretzel. And they're happy about it. They have no regrets. They're like, YOLO, Disney, all the way.
We've been doing some videos about like the nihilism of like shooters and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is somehow more nihilistic than the nihilism I see in like satanic shooters and stuff like that. Like this was a good use of my time and money, especially when you consider all the suffering and pain that's going on in the world that they could be working towards, or any scientific progress they could be pushing forwards.
Yeah, they're like, oh,
I mean, it's almost as bad as the Everest climbers. See our Everest episode where we're just like, you have to be like a psychopath.
And when you walk around Disney parks, people aren't looking thrilled. And I watch a lot of Disney footage.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of happy people at Disney. I'm gonna be
So
honest, you don't see a lot of happy people.
not the happiest place on earth.
I saw honestly Harry Potter World, way more happy people than
Oh
Disney.
my God. Yes, because people are just so freaking impressed by everything. It's
Yeah, you're like, oh,
sorry.
this is done quite well. You just watch it and you're like, this was worth the money. Like, do you walk around Harry Potter
We were
World
legit impressed. Yeah.
and you're like, oh my God, like this is pretty. And I think you see Harry Potter World for me represents the failure of Disney in many ways because they had the contract to do that. And J.K. Rowling
Yeah, they
went
totally
over
whiffed
their
it.
plans
Yeah.
and she goes, this is just a few themed rides. This is not what people want.
Yeah.
They want an immersive world.
Yes.
And Disney was like, nobody does that, J.K. Rowling. That's
Well, but
crazy,
then
J.K.
don't
Rowling.
forget, Disney tried it actually succeeded in creating an immersive world, or like remember the Star Wars hotel they created, but it sucked. They made it this like you're locked into these windowless tiny rooms and then forced to go into these like it was just terrible, and then it shut down because it was that bad. So yeah,
No,
it's
I
like
mean,
Disney.
it showed also like an out of touchness with what parts of their brands work with people, what parts of their brands don't work with people. I mean, I've watched a lot of these Star Wars hotel walkthroughs or like people who did the whole thing.
Yeah,
They're fun.
it's
They're
delightful.
you know you watch it, and I'm just glad that I'm not running around trying to do these stupid unfinished games that somebody desperately
Oh my God.
programmed.
It seems like homework. I don't, yeah, or like talk. Again, we've talked about this in other
Talk with
episodes, but like
actors. Oh my God, having to
character
pretend.
lunches or character interactions in general make me so
But the
deeply
thing is you
uncomfortable.
can just go if you want that form of immersiveness
Yeah.
to like your local medieval fair or like fantasy
Oh my God,
weekend.
yeah, go to
Or
your Ren Fair. And Ren Fairs are
no,
so much
actually,
more.
so Simone, there's like this cool thing that they do now where people like rent out castles and like everybody goes in like period attire and like you're supposed to like LARP the whole time. You could do this if you live in the UK. And the US still have like castle like
Oh, yeah, I'm
things.
like, what castle are you talking
No,
about?
there's castle like things throughout the US that people will use to do this. And it's like a whole thing.
That sounds fun. I still don't want to interact with people, but I mean, in theory, it sounds fun. But yeah, so you had mentioned Disney merchandise and people
Oh
walking around
gosh,
exporting
are
it.
these people coming today to work with him?
No,
Okay, good.
no.
Okay. Sorry, our kids are really sick.
No, yeah, we're good. I got all that. I get the admin. I can definitely do the admin if if you're in the splash zone. I'm like behind in like the tech booth. Okay.
Yeah.
Shamu's getting all over you though. So I just sent you a link and a screenshot from the official Disney merchandise store, just to show you how like, into the delusion, people want to go. I think the classic thing that people feel
that is
really
fun. So simple headbands, Disney button Dooney and Burka headband is $198.
Dooney and Burka make this a thing. Yeah,
You
no,
can-
but like seriously, there are some Mickey Mouse ears because when you walk through the park, you want to get Mickey Mouse ears because everyone has them, and you're like, I want to be in the spirit. So people buy these. The average, like a typical price for mouse ears that aren't like discounted and pathetic, which are more around like $25. A typical price is $44. But yeah, you can spend $200 way more. There are many other ways though that Disney will find ways to extract money from people. I've watched really in-depth videos, for example, on the Disney Vacation Club, because I don't know if you knew, but Disney has a robust timeshare model. They have expanded resorts and enhanced member exclusive experiences. Like these are people who like literally like it is a Disney lifestyle. They own part of the Disney property. And now if you've bought into the Disney Vacation Club, oh, it's not like, you already spent, I don't know what, $200,000, some crazy amount, right, for your timeshare,
Yeah.
which you still have to pay probably fees to maintain. But now they're extracting additional money out of you with DVC resale and with rentals and then with points-based enhancements. So like it's never enough. Then also in parks, they're what they call like, and literally this is a product class called Enchanting Extras. And this includes exclusive fireworks views and private tours and premium lounges and animal encounters and adventure activities that require advanced reservations and in-person fees and dessert events. And then there are also the very special dining events, the exclusive restaurants, the club lounges. Like there's the Pirates of the Caribbean Tavern, Spaceship Earth Lounge, their after hours parties. There are all these things that like, if you really want the good experience, if you want to feel like you're having the Disney magic, it's there, but only if you spend insane amounts of money. And this is why this exploitative behavior is both logical and also kind of inevitable if we're talking about efficient markets. Like, I don't blame Disney for doing this. And Disney's actually really transparent about their approach. So basically they're very open about their focus on going for fewer, wealthier guests. Disney's data shows that the top 10% of US earners now account for half of all customer spending. So parks focus on affluent demographics who can pay for new premium experiences, suites, and costly add-ons. Just 10% of US earners, half of consumer spending.
Wow.
And so this is for everyone, right? So they know this. They see this as a truism, as a market dynamic, and they're like, well, I'm going to be dumb. Like, I am failing my fiduciary responsibility if I don't cater to them.
If I don't kick out the pores.
Yeah. And also,
No, but I think this is really going to hurt them, and I'll explain why.
Okay.
What Disney does not understand is when Disney converts a Disney person into the Disney brand and lifestyle,
Okay.
that really has to be done before the age of, I'd say, 15.
Yeah.
Disney does not make Disney adults. Disney makes Disney children who
become
were
Disney
taken
adults
by their parents as young kids, who watched Disney movies and stuff like that as young kids. But now that they are gating a huge chunk of the population, especially the population with lots of kids,
even by making Disney Plus so expensive too.
Yes.
Like, I can think that at least there's that pipeline. Like, at least you can have like your remote propaganda pipeline.
So they're making themselves irrelevant in the long term because they're a portion of the population that has fond memories of Disney. What Disney is selling you when they sell you the Disney quote unquote magic is the magic of childhood. It is trying to bring you back to your childhood.
Yeah.
And into experiences that you thought were special during your childhood. If you don't have the Disney evoked set from childhood, they can't do that.
I don't know, because even children are pretty sensitive to the concept of luxury items. And now that Disney is a luxury item, I think that it will get into their mind share that way.
Disagree.
But let me also just, I know, like, Disney, again, also companies are not CEOs, right? Their incentive packages are not incentivized for what happens 20 years from now. And you know this. You know it. Their incentive packages have to do with this year. So they're not going to be, I mean, that may be true. They may be fully acknowledging that, but the company is incapable, based on the way that incentive packages are set up, based on the way that shareholders behave, of making that proactive plan. And recent quarterly and annual reports show that Disney parks are earning record profits with attendance still below pre-pandemic levels. So they've never recovered past the pandemic, but they have record profits. Yes, because they're squeezing so much out of people because of their massive increases in per capita guest spending on upcharges and hotels and foods and special services. And that results means that you're just getting more from fewer. You have to do less work to take care of these people. And they're also engaging in active price optimization. There's a lot of discussion online now about dynamic pricing. Disney's doing it too. They have dynamic date-based pricing. Their high price increases for skip the line add-ons, and they have a stream of upcharges, and revenue repeatedly rises, even when traffic is flat or falls. And their executives are explicitly acknowledging this strategy of maximizing revenue from each visitor.
Disney's parks are like their big cash cow.
Yeah.
When contrasted with their television brand and everything like that. Disney TV, there's been some talk recently even that they've shut down basically their animation division. So they're not doing animated television stuff anymore, or like Disney TV stuff in a classical sense anymore. And this is not great, right, for Disney going forward. It's like they have a few active shows, but I can't remember the context, but it was basically like there isn't really a future for them given the way that they've structured the team at this point. And their shows just keep bombing over and over and over again, you know, whether they're Pixar or Disney or anything like that we've seen.
Well, this is despite the fact that actually I saw some graphs. I didn't grab them for this interview, but spending on production through Disney Plus and their other like media stuff has actually gone up over time.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why we're seeing Disney Plus price hikes, I think it's actually less about extracting extra money from the customer and more about the fact that they're paying more for original new content. So I think that they are aware of the fact that good media properties are crucial if they want to maintain, you know, some kind of base and not lose the middle class because the now the middle class
Disney
can't go
just
to
made
parks.
like they've clearly taken a quote unquote side in the culture wars. Like we talk about the rehiring of Jimmy Kimmel, right?
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
lied on
Well,
air,
there
refused
was
to
a
apologize for
whole Disney
lying.
boycott in response to Jimmy Kimmel's firing.
Yeah, which we've pointed out in the episode, he had lower ratings than most talk shows had when they were canceled.
Yeah.
He himself said he expected to not have his contract renewed. And it wasn't that he attacked Trump or Charlie Kirk. He just lied about an assassination attempt and then refused to apologize. And they still take him back, which I think Disney getting involved with the culture wars was a huge unforced error on their part.
They got involved with the culture wars way before that, though. I mean, all the Star Wars stuff that happened.
Well, no, of course. But the problem is they got involved with the side that had a lot of Disney adults and very few people who have kids. And that makes sense from a selling more to this luxury brand audience, but it makes the brand long-term irrelevant. I do not think that Disney is going to be a particularly relevant, like it may still own a lot of stuff, but particularly relevant from a brand perspective within our children's generation.
I do think that they should be doing a lot more to be accessible to children, because even now, actually, when we see like Disney licensed products, like we were just in BJ's the other day getting our normal groceries, our 7 gallons of milk for a couple of days, and we saw these rubber ducks, which our kids love, and I was like, oh my god, why are these so expensive? Because it was a really expensive pack, and then we realized it was crazy expensive because it was like Elsa duck,
and it looked really poor quality too.
Well, they looked really crappy, but also like, if we can't, like, our kids actually are not into any Disney properties. And it's not that we're like trying to shield them. I mean, Ghibli's way better, obviously, and other stuff, but like we can't afford it. We're not going to spend that much more for ducks that have Disney theming. So our kids don't know Disney characters. I mean, for this one period, one of our kids, Octavian, really loved watching The Little Mermaid, but he kept calling her Worm.
The worm movie. But the problem is that kids today just seem to react so much better to Hideo Kojima, or not Hideo Kojima. What's the one I'm thinking of?
Studio Ghibli
stuff than.
No, they always have. They always have. It's just superior. I don't know what to say. And that's again, we need to have a Japanese prenatalist like family trip or like conference, because then there's the Ghibli Park. There's so many amazing resorts for kids in Japan, and they're but they're amazing. Anyway, it drives me nuts. But okay, so while I agree with you that Disney is shooting itself in the foot, probably because the way that it works is it has this like child to adult pipeline. Most discretionary goods totally work like this and are going to continue to work like this, and it is a sustainable model for them, not for us as consumers, for them. Basically, if you're not selling a commodity, it's more logical to charge more and double down on high rollers that are honestly spending themselves into holes than budget conscious spenders. And a large majority of businesses, especially very specifically, not people selling commoditized products. So like just like normal low priced milk, like Walmart, gas stations, electricity, like that's fine. They generate most of their income from a minority of clients. So if we look at like, okay, Gucci, luxury product, most of its sales come from its top 20% of customers. Luxury industry analysts frequently estimate that the top 20% of customers can account to 70 to 80% of revenues and profits on ultra high-end segments. Casinos, classic example, overwhelmingly depend on their top 20% of customers for their profits, with recent studies showing that this segment is responsible for around 90% or more of total operator revenue, especially in online casino settings. The top 20% of, let's just take something, nerdy, more homegrown, like Magic the Gathering, right?
Yeah.
They're like top 20% of Magic buyers, termed whales, are estimated to generate 70 to 80%. So this is Gucci levels of their total sales.
That is fascinating.
Supporting this, discussions among Magic analysts and financial communities indicate that brand that relies heavily on the core of highly engaged, high-spending customers who purchase large quantities of cards and premium sets and exclusive product offerings like secret layer drops. And so Magic is owned by Hasbro. They don't, exactly give very detailed reports, but they definitely provide evidence of rising average transaction values that have outsized revenue growth from basically premium sets and products that are only being bought by like this super fan. And this even applies to like literally stuff that I would guess or assume to be more commoditized, but they're still discretionary goods, like phone apps, like just freaking mobile games. Analysts have found that there's like a 25 to 65 rule in the Apple App Store, with 25% of customers responsible for 65% of spending just for apps, which is crazy. And the key balance for these businesses is to reduce the risk of losing those, I mean, like obviously when you have a more concentrated customer base of just like a few high rollers, the risk is that if you lose enough of them, alienate enough of them, you're really, really screwed. You don't have this diversified portfolio. But as long as you're like pretty careful, you're okay. And then basically this incentivizes companies to just give a crappy experience to budget customers, because if anything, they're a burden. They're crowding things up. They're wasting your time when you could be spending your time better targeting and better serving the ones who have the money and can spend the money. So if you're buying non-essentials and you're not a high roller, you're just going to get an intrinsically crummy experience. And this matters because basically if you try to buy your happiness through products or services outside your community, outside your family, you're just not going to, either you're going to like blow all your money and still not be happy, or you're going to blow your money and get a crappy experience. And I think it makes me so much happier that we have like made kind of the financial decision to kind of stop traveling, stop going on trips, and stop, like we used to take our kids to like trampoline parks and museums and things like that. And we kind of had this experience, but we didn't really get it, like, well, this trampoline park is only really going to be fun if we drop $100 at the arcade and then buy the pizza and like, get them the VIP pass so they can go on this fun part of it that's otherwise roped off, right? Like everything is becoming like this. And the fact that I've now looked at this dynamic is at the Buffalo
Ranch.
I'm saving this as my, like, for what, the like 5 bags that I bought as my post C-section reward. I have to like,
what's up.
Yeah, set some.
She loves saving things for later. Delayed gratification is like her cocaine.
It's how I get through things. It's my carrot. I need my carrot. Just walk around with that.
My carrot is doing what I want when I want.
Yeah, no, like literally we got home from Trader Joe's and that bag immediately was opened. But you, unlike me, had like one bite and then rolled it up and put it in your food cabinet. Whereas like, if you knew how much I've eaten today already.
You look gaunt.
Yeah.
The baby's taking it all.
He is actually taking it all.
I swear they're going to open you up again and be like, this is so much bigger than we thought.
Yeah. Okay. So my guess is going to be 8 pounds and 2 ounces. So we'll see. And I've been trying. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah. So what I am thinking, like what all this research has changed about the way that I look at things. So is like, I still didn't have this.
It's never worth owning something that isn't a commodity.
Yeah, exactly. Unless again, it's like it's homegrown and made by people passionate about something. So like these stays that I'm wearing were made by hand by like nerdy women in Portland, who sold it like through their private brand. It's on Etsy, French Meadows, but like they also have their own website, frenchmeadows.com. They're not a sponsor, but I freaking love them. And like you can get a luxury product from them. And actually, so I've had like stays that I've purchased and then the boning comes through, and that's actually happened on these too, but I don't want to tell them about it because I don't want to exploit them. But like they're literally like, oh, we'll just send you a new one when they get a little bit broken. And I just sent one back and they sent me a new one. Like that is where luxury is now. It's in community-based, like otaku, people who are passionate, or within your own community or your own family. Like that is where you can get it. So you can still get it, but trying to get a happy experience from any large corporate brand is increasingly becoming an exercise in frustration. And as much as apparently Japan hasn't figured this out with their tourism industry, and I do not understand how or why, it's going to spread everywhere. So even if you're, one of our Romanian listeners or one of our German listeners, and maybe this isn't happening there yet, I mean, it's only a matter of time. I feel like there's just this Darwinian business thing where like the businesses that survive are going to be the ones that do this because it works. It's worked for Disney. Again, like they're still at pre-pandemic levels in park attendance and they're fine with that. And like they're literal, like here's an article in the Mirror about how like influencers are walking around Disney parks in Florida and it's just empty. You know, there's no lines, no waits. Like,
Oh, really? What,
yeah.
Is it because nobody's going anymore? It's because only for the super
And
rich
this,
now?
well, in this specific one that they cite in this was on Labor Day weekend. This guy goes to a Disney park in Orlando and films it, and it is just a wasteland.
Hey! Hey! How y'all doing?
Disney don't care because they're still making money. They do not care. Even on days when park attendance is low, they're making same amount of money pretty much. So yeah, I'm grateful that you were like, hey, dig into this. Cause I was like, I don't know. I know everything there is to know about this. And I'm like,
I
holy
watch
crap.
all the Disney influencers.
I do. It's fun. I like it a lot. But yeah, it's official. We're quitting Disney. Not that we ever were that Disney. But I liked it. There was a time in my adolescence when my eyes would well up with tears when I heard the little jingle with the castle at the beginning of a Disney movie.
Oh my gosh. They ruined that with the movie Wish Upon a Star.
They ruined all of it. Yeah.
About how entitlement is awesome because the bad guy in that was absolutely in the right. They're like, I should never have to give up anything I want was basically the justification of that movie.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Disney did Encanto? I think Encanto was a really good
Encanto
movie.
was great. I
Yeah.
thought Encanto was really good.
They still are capable of it.
Encanto is the only thing they've done recently. Encanto and Frozen are the only.
Yeah, but
Moana.
no, Frozen's
I
terrible.
haven't watched Moana 2. Like
Moana has one good song. There's nothing else about it that's decent. It is one good song, period. I guess you liked the crab song.
Yeah, I like the crab song.
But no, I think it only has one good song. It's a great song, but it has one good song for one movie.
Is that the one about like
welcome.
be grateful? You're welcome. Yeah.
With the rock. Come on, it's
is that about men for women in society?
It's the patriarchy. It's the song about the patriarchy. That's why it's so great. It's so based. I mean, they didn't realize they were doing it, but it was like the Barbie movie. It happened even anyway.
It just happened.
Happened. But yeah, curious to see what people think about this episode when it comes out.
I'm curious that I get to be married to somebody who doesn't want anything but commodities and I love this lifestyle, commodity maxing. But also like we're actually happy. That's the crazy thing. Children are the luxury item in our life. Children are the only luxury item that really matters.
I will say I have never, and I'm not a kid person, I've never felt so wealthy as I feel, so abundant as when like 3 of our kids are struggling to all sit in my lap as we read a book together. I'm like, all,
and they
like,
do
piled up.
all of them. They're like, I get this section of the lap, I get this section of the lap,
and it is a feat because I have this giant belly, and there's not much room to sit, and they're figuring it out. Life finds a way.
I find them not soon, not with 5 kids. I don't know what's going to happen soon, but
one on the shoulders, I guess. So, we need to build some kind of contraption that allows like some kind of shelving system around us. I don't know, but God, I love them. I didn't know this was possible. There's no way though. There's no way that you can pitch kids to someone who hasn't had them themselves that would, I think, give them a feeling of what it's really like. Maybe if you grew up with a lot of siblings, because you kind of partially raised them, you would understand the camaraderie. Otherwise, I don't know. Anyway, I love you a lot.
I love you too.
I'm gonna go check
You're
on.
a spectacular woman for making all of these kids and somehow still being grateful to me, even though I don't give you your Disney trips. We tried a cruise this last year and we're like, not again. But now Octavian, our oldest, wants to make a cruise for 100 kids.
They all still want to go on a cruise, which is weird.
They didn't even enjoy it that much when we were doing it. They didn't concept in their memory of a cruise.
Yeah, there was a lot of crying. There were a lot of meltdowns. We tried to eat in the restaurant the first few nights, and then we're like, this just isn't worth it. So we ended up, I had a big wagon to carry them around the ship safely. And we would go up to the restaurant, order the food, and then I would get like takeout plates and fill the wagon with them. And we would just eat in our room, this tiny little room. And it was cozy. It was nice. But like, you know, I mean, I'm glad that we didn't pay for it. I'm glad that it was 100% on points because I don't know. We wouldn't have ever paid for something like that anyway, but
yeah. Anyway, love you to death.
I love you too.
And remember, with Toasty being sick, I don't want you picking him up or anything. I got him. If he can eat in bed in any way, you let me know.
I'll just bring him some snack packs with oranges and pears and apples, and if he eats, he eats.
I think that's a good way to do it.
I don't want to.
We can handle his bed
rile
later,
him up,
and I will clean out his bed. You know.
Oh, of all the food that he throws into it.
Yes, you don't have to worry.
He thinks he's so clever.
That he hides. I love the one about cheating where you would have him, you say, you know, eat your cheese stick and I will give you your iPad. And then one day you're cleaning out his bed and you find all these like rotting cheese sticks stuffed somewhere. And you show it to Toasty and he goes, well, Mom, kids cheat sometimes. Like,
boys
not
can cheat to get their iPads.
By the way, we don't give our kids actual iPads. And we're not rolling in money.
Go, good heavens, no.
Cheap tablets, but
yeah, incredibly cheap. Yeah, but I mean, the term iPads has been commodified, kind of apropos actually for this episode.
Gonna lose their patent, hopefully. You know, if everything's an iPad.
Yeah, they have so much money in their war chest, they can just make up, you know. But I feel like iDevices are kind of falling apart anyway. But I am really excited about
uses Apple. I haven't seen it around that much.
Their play is going to be the smart house, and I think that they can do that really well. A lot of people get locked into Apple because they like the integration. They like that their smartwatch and their phone and their laptop and their TV are also so smoothly together. And it can be really hard to get out of that. It's an addictive cycle. So I think they're leaning into that, and it makes sense to only lean into those power users anyway, which is again a big theme of this podcast. Actually, I'm excited to get into it.
Right.
So I guess I'll just start.
And tonight I'm doing just pho and seaweed in the pho, and then some noodles in the pho.
Yes.
Great.
But with pot stickers or no?
No, nothing. So the point of this stuff is just nothing else, just the pho.
Okay. All right. So no proteins. You're trying to avoid.
I explained to you.
I know.
Bone broth has lots of.
Is pho broth bone broth?
Yes. It is beef or bone broth, and it's you pointed out, it has about as much protein in it as a protein bar.
If you've like 3 or 2 cups.
Which is what a bowl of it is.
I guess, yeah. I give you pretty sizable bowls. Okay.
Simone. How did I get married to you?
I don't know, man. I definitely won this one out. I'm the winner here. Got the better end of the lollipop. But anyway, let's see.
I don't know. The better end of the lollipop. Yeah, sure. Anyway.
Honestly, I'm like Toasty. I hate candy so much, so I would actually prefer to eat the stick than the end.
And that's why you think you got the better end.
No, but that's the brilliant thing is actually both of us did get the better end of the lollipop because we each desperately need the strengths. Like my shortcomings are so shored up by your strengths.
Yeah, my shortcomings are that I'm lazy and
Malcolm, you were the least
self-indulgent.
Who got up at 2 a.m. this morning and was not only vibe coding and prepping another podcast episode, but taking care of our infant and our sick 4-year-old.
Well, I didn't want them to wake you up because you're pregnant. That's not like being diligent or anything.
No, Malcolm, sorry. No, you don't get to. No, you're not lazy. You're
and I had to get stuff done this morning. I'm getting a lot done with our
At 2 a.m. in the morning. Yeah,
live with it. It's going to be so advanced.
I'm so excited. It's awesome.
like twice the website of what's up right now, which is working and decent. And do let us know. rfab.ai. It's like an AI adventure interaction system. If you give any feedback, it is hugely appreciated at this stage.
Yeah,
don't
and
forget
huge thanks to everyone who has given feedback so far.
the
It's
free
been
token
great.
claims that are on the site every day. I don't know if users have realized we give pretty generous daily free token amounts. But yeah,
That is nice considering what people have to shell out these days. So if you're into this stuff, good offer.
If you guys do this, you're gonna get hurt. You know that, right? I told you you'd be hurt. What? Oh no. Do you want me to blow those up for you?